This is Tim Time Projects, and I'm Tim, even though you can't see me, I'm behind the camera. Well, if you look closely, you might notice a Golden Eagle transmitter all taken apart on the bench there. This is after I got it all put back together. We're kind of working backwards here. So how did we end up at this spot? Well, after I had put it all back together, I had a heck of a hum in transmit output. So I really wasn't too happy with those diodes that I put in. First off, I felt they were underrated. They were only rated at 1 amp. So I wanted something a little beefier. But the main thing is they must have been some kind of a knockoff, because as I was soldering them in, their name, the part number, was just literally rubbing off on them, so that I was almost left with just little black cylinders. So I knew that they weren't a good name brand. Anyhow, I thought about that, and then with the hum, I'm thinking that I should probably at least replace uh, the capacitor that was on the shorted side. So anyhow, the video you're about to watch, while all the facts are true, the fix is not really a good fix. But anyhow, without further ado, you can kind of watch, because the diagnostics and troubleshooting and the parts placement were all right. It's just I'm not happy with the parts that are in there, and they probably are leading. Well, I'm hoping they're leading to my noise. So let's get on with it. Well, I went to turn the Eagle on to test the microphone, and it wouldn't turn on. So look, the fuse was blown. So I put another 2 amp fuse in it, turned on. And a couple seconds later, I smelled something, and I went back, and it was off. So the fuse blew. But I smelled something burning, which is not a good sign. So check it out real quick while it's a little stinky. Maybe I can find out what got hot. Please don't be the transformer. Well, the transformer is not hot. Here's this. There it is. I'll have to see what this resistor is right back in here. I don't know if you can see it. Right in here. I believe it's a resistor. It's kind of dried, so hard to tell. But it's this guy right in here. I'm going to flip the radio the other way so that the heavy end's down. Yeah, that is definitely burned. Let me look that up and see what it is. Okay, so we're going to look at the schematic here, and let's see, this R64, let me just underline it. Let me underline it in red. This guy here, I believe, the one right above the red line, that's the one there that's burned up. So if I look this way and follow it, would one of these caps be, well, this cap mainly right here, would this be short of the ground? This guy right here? It's possible. All the caps were replaced on this not too long ago. So let's see, how about it comes down to this diode here. So something, the diode was causing some extreme current draw. The only thing is, when I checked it, remember this resistor here, all those
all the cement resistor, none of them were hot. The only thing that was hot was this guy here that burned up. This one here, let me go back. This one here, R60, it looks like it might have gotten hot at one point, but nothing like this one. I noticed some moisture on it, but it's possible. I don't know. It's a 2 watt. So let's see, where does this go? Where does this line go? It goes over here. First it goes up, and we'll look at this resistor here, and we can look at the circuit going this way. It goes there, and one leg goes down to, I think that might be the push to talk relay. Let's see, follow the other side of it. Goes through, well, anything on this side would have just merely wouldn't overdraw the current. We would have noticed the push to talk relay clicking, not that we were listening for it. Boy, where's that go? That goes all the way around. Looks like it heads over this way. Where's the clear it is? Okay, then it goes up to the transmit, receive, or the push to talk switch on the mic. So yeah, it's definitely not on that side. So coming up here, this one goes over to here and up through here. So we'll check this resistor, make sure that that didn't short. But resistors generally don't just short. Maybe something falls on the wires or something. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is start back here. I'm going to look. Let's see if anything's shorted the ground. Right here at the very beginning of the resistor. So I have my little nifty clamps on check. I'm going to check the resistor first. I've already checked here that there was no voltage before I stuck my hands in here. So there's the fried resistor. Let's see. This auto range. 4.1. Actually, it's a 4.7 ohm resistor, so that resistor is not fried. Let me see if I see a short to ground anywhere. Now, this will be a little bit tough to tell because it probably goes through the transformer coils. So, all right, so I have 4.2 ohms on this side of the resistor, across the resistor rather. But then when I go from, let me get this out here. When I go from this side of the resistor to one of the diodes, I'm trying to do a diode test here. Basically, I'm looking to see if this diode is shorted or open. And it looks like it's shorted. I'm going to do a diode test. Let me see if you can see my meter here. I'm going to do a diode test on this diode, and checking making the center. It should conduct. On that one, it's basically shorted. It's not doing anything. Let me go the other way. Other side of that diode. Okay, and it's showing it open, which that's correct. But this way it shows, so the lower diode looks like it's shorted that way. Let's see what happens when I switch the leads around. Okay, so now I'm making the center of the two diodes positive. And when I go to the lower diode, I'm showing, again, a short. Let's see if the top one looks right. The top one looks correct. So kind of confused by what they're showing me here, though, because it's testing that the top's the cathode. However, there's a plus mark on that diode. If I can't get it to show up on camera, I'll be taking it anyhow. So what I did was basically, here's the center lead, would be the one that says AC, and when I tested in diode check, and either way, it's basically looking like it's shorted. Let me see how many ohms it is. 0.7 of an ohm that way. Ah! Come on. And about 1 ohm that way. So let's pull that the rest of the way out. I know I don't have one of those. Let me see what I can use as a replacement for that. And for that resistor that's burned up, because even though it still kind of looks okay, it's not getting used. Let me see what I have. So what I've done here is here's the resistor that was fried down in here, the blue one that's been replaced. And instead of using double diode pack, I found it looked like the 1000, what's that, 1 and 4007s, or 1 amp at 1000 volts, and that should be sufficient to replace. Let me move these away from that resistor. That should be sufficient to replace the pack. I just used 2 of them. As you see, the resistor comes in, the power comes in from this red wire onto the resistor, through the resistor, and the anode on one side, and the cathode is connected to this capacitor, and then the cathode to the other side, and it's connected over to ground. So with a bunch of other stuff. But anyhow, so that's how it goes. I'm just double checking, make sure that my solder joints all look good. I want to catch that one on that, even though I didn't change anything. I don't like that one right there. So I will do that real quick, and then we get the thin bulb tester and set this up and check it out. And I did find, actually, let me solder this in here while I'm talking. I did find some physical damage to that one diode. Couldn't really see while it was in circuit, but as soon as I pulled it out, it was quite evident. And I will show you that directly. But I'm going to get everything set up for the dim bulb tester and see then if we're good to go here. Okay, so here's the burned components. Here's the 4.7 ohm resistor. Still worked. It was like 4.2 ohms, but I think it was time to replace it. Here is the little diode, and if you look, you can see there's a crack on the side of it. I don't know how much I can get that in there. I never figure out which way to move this stuff. So there's the middle, and I'll try and zoom it in a little bit, but right there, it looks like a hair right on the side of the 4. Another thing I did want to add when you're doing these, the plus doesn't necessarily mean the anode side. And, you know, I asked Copilot, or I can't remember, it was Copilot or Google, I don't know. I asked one of those AIs if that was the anode side, and it said, yep. And I said, well, in this schematic, it's not. And it said, well, you're exactly right. So even when you ask AI, just be careful. I think what they were getting at was you have an output, and they wanted that to be the output. I don't know. But anyhow, if you look at it on the schematic, the one that says plus was connected to, actually, when I used 2 different diodes, it was actually the cathode of the diode, not the anode. So just confusing. And when I saw that, it reminded me, I've seen things like that with selenium diodes. So right away I thought, it can't be a selenium diode, but it's not. It's just, I guess what they're conveying. I'm not sure what they're conveying, but anyhow, that's the way that runs. And just be careful when you put them in. Make sure you pay attention to the schematic, and you might even want to test what you have in there because schematics have been wrong too. All right, we get the dim light bulb tester. That's just to limit the current that goes through there. That way, if it's a short, they'll light up. New 2 amp fuses in there, and that's what it calls for, 2 amp. And I have it up like this, so in case something's going to smoke or burn, we can see it on camera and find out where it is. Wish me luck. Let me turn this guy on. Off, on. Let me turn this guy on. Let me bring it down where it should be. All right. I'll start bringing it up. We get a reading on here. We're at 50 volts almost. I can see the lights already coming up on the dash, on the thingy. We're at 0.23 amps. 73 volts, 0.28 amps. 77, 83, let's see. 84 volts, 0.3 amps. Don't feel any heat there. 94 volts. 102 volts. 110. 113, 114. We're still at less, we're at 0.38 amps. So, what, 380 milliamps. 117 volts. I'm sure by now all the tubes have come to life. All my lights are on back here. I smell nothing burning. Let that soak in for a few minutes. While my hand's very close to it, it's still maybe an inch or two from going inside. So I will touch this resistor right here just to see if it's hot. Yeah, it's cold. It's not hot. It's not cold. And again, I'm just touching the backs of the resistors just to make sure that none of them are exceptionally hot for any reason whatsoever. All right, we are still 117 volts and only drawing 0.37 amp. So I would say that I believe this is a success. Let me just nothing's changed there. Yeah, before it the fuse blew within 30 seconds. Maybe not even that, might have been within 10 seconds. All right, so next is going to be to put it back together and test it. All right, so I don't know how much of this you can see. Let's just try it. Hey, is this thing on? K8. Hello, hello. Alrighty, that's about it. All right, well, I think that about does it for getting the D104 working and getting the Golden Eagle 3 back on there. It's been running for about 40 minutes now. No problems. Seems to transmit fine. And you heard what the microphone sounds like, and I really even haven't heard it yet. I have to go up and play that. But thanks for watching, and we'll sum this up. I don't know if this could be one video or two. Probably two, because it might be too long. Thanks for watching. Take care. Hope it was helpful. And That's all I can say.